The sky no longer belongs to the birds. It hums with propellers and algorithms, eyes that never blink, searching for heat, motion, and mistakes. You don't hear a warning shot anymore. You hear a faint buzz, and then you're found. But history has seen this before. 80 years ago, soldiers faced the same sky filled with bombers instead of drones. Back then, survival meant one thing: disappear. Not by magic, but by mastery. By learning how sight itself could be fooled. The same logic that hid tanks under trees and airfields under paint can still hide you today. Because technology evolves, but the landscape hasn't forgotten how to lie. The shadows still shift. The earth still knows how to keep secrets. The only question left is, do you? In the early 1940s, Europe became a chessboard of smoke and shadow. The Allies understood that brute strength alone couldn't win a war against an enemy that ruled the air. Every movement risked being seen, tracked, destroyed. So they began to vanish. Painters, sculptors, and stage designers joined the army, not to fight, but to deceive. They built forests where none existed, draped tarps painted with leaves over hangars, and turned wooden frames into tanks that looked real from 1,000 feet up. The British called it camouflage. The Americans took it further, creating entire phantom divisions that moved across France without ever firing a shot. What began as desperation evolved into art. These illusions didn't just hide. They told stories to the sky, convincing the enemy's eyes that safety and danger had traded places. In that world, invisibility wasn't silence. It was strategy, and it saved thousands of lives. Today, the sky watches differently, but the danger feels the same. Drones don't tire, don't blink, and don't forget. They drift above cities and forests, patient as predators, scanning for the smallest sign of movement or heat. Their lenses can pierce darkness. Their software can tell tree from tent, and their silence is the cruelest sound of all. To hide from something that never sleeps seems impossible. But machines have one fatal flaw. They can only see what they're taught to recognize. Their intelligence isn't instinct, it's repetition. They search for patterns, shapes, contrasts that make sense to code, not to chaos. And that's where the human advantage returns. The same instincts that guided soldiers beneath. Bombers, the understanding of light, texture, and terrain, still break digital eyes today. Because the drone is fast, but it's blind to what doesn't fit its logic. Technology conquers what it understands. Camouflage survives by refusing to be understood. The rules of invisibility haven't changed. Only the enemy has. And the same mind that once fooled pilots can still fool pixels. The art of disappearance didn't die with the war. It simply waits for those who remember how to use it. They called them the Ghost Army, an illusionist brigade armed not with bullets, but with imagination. Their weapons were rubber tanks, painted facades, and sound machines that mimicked the rumble of entire armored columns. They moved through Europe's battlefields like shadows, conjuring armies where none existed and drawing enemy fire away from real troops miles away. These men understood something timeless. The eye believes what it expects. They didn't make things vanish. They made lies look comfortable. To fool a watcher, human or machine, you don't need invisibility. You need persuasion. Every tarp, every paint stroke, every fake radio broadcast whispered a single idea into the sky. There's nothing here worth your attention. And the sky listened. Their genius wasn't just artistic, it was psychological. They mastered misdirection, layering sound, shape, and shadow until truth dissolved into doubt. Those same principles outlive radar and drones. Because deception, at its core, is language, the way light speaks to the mind. To disappear today is to speak that language fluently again, to bend perception, not defy it. The Ghost Army proved that the greatest camouflage isn't what hides you, it's what convinces the world you were never there to begin with. Long before humans learned to hide, nature had already perfected the craft. Look at the bark-colored moth, its wings a mirror of the tree it rests on, or the snow hare shifting its coat with the seasons, erasing itself between winter and thaw. They don't vanish, they belong. Every surface, every tone, every texture follows one rule: break the pattern. The moment something looks too clean, too straight, too even, the eye locks on. Nature knows this and never repeats itself. That's why forests confuse drones. Why chaos is camouflage. The lesson isn't to disappear. It's to dissolve into your environment's rhythm. A shelter with perfect symmetry is an invitation, but a roof broken by branches, shadows, and irregular color turns invisible through imperfection. Nature doesn't waste effort. Pretending to be something else, it exaggerates what's already there until sight gives up trying to separate. That's the secret the Ghost Army borrowed, and the secret technology still struggles to defeat. Every survivalist, every soldier, every wanderer who learns from it joins an ancient lineage of tricksters and survivors. You don't need to outbuild a drone. You need to outthink its certainty. Nah. A world ruled by vision. Chaos remains the most natural disguise. Start with the land itself. Don't fight it, listen to it. Every hill, tree, and shadow offers a clue about how to disappear. The first rule: break your outline. A drone identifies shapes, angles that don't belong, patterns that repeat. So you scatter branches, drape uneven textures, and let your shelter melt into the noise. Tarps painted in irregular blotches, mixed with natural debris, confuse the algorithm's search for order. Next, distort heat. Drones track warmth like bloodhounds. So you layer insulation, use reflective blankets, or hang damp fabric to blur your thermal signature. Even a thin sheet of water can mask a heartbeat. Then, play with shadow. In daylight, add false darkness. Branches that throw irregular shade, or objects that cast believable silhouettes. At night, use darkness like paint, not armor. The goal isn't to hide from light. It's to control what light reveals. Finally, embrace imperfection. A shelter too tidy announces itself. Debris, uneven ground, stray movement. All of it adds noise that machines mistake for nature. This is camouflage reimagined, not built for uniforms or trenches, but for the quiet war of visibility. You don't need advanced gear or government secrets. Just patience, awareness, and the humility to let the land do the hiding for you. From the battlefields of Normandy to the drone-filled skies of today, survival has always favored the ones who adapt fastest. The Ghost Army's lessons were never just about war. They were about perception, about understanding how easily the powerful can be blinded by confidence. Every scrap of burlap, every twisted branch, every painted shadow carried a message that still matters. Power means nothing if it can't see what it's fighting. To drone-proof a shelter isn't an act of paranoia, it's a tribute to human creativity under pressure. The same ingenuity that once hid armies now protects individuals. Technology will keep evolving, but so will deception. Because the mind that invents machines is the same mind that learns to fool them. The art of disappearance endures, quiet and patient, waiting for those who remember that the best defense has always been unseen.